Hey everyone, Theron Asbury here with Revital Outdoors, bringing you another exciting podcast. Tonight we're going to the great state of Alabama. We're going to talk to Mr. Austin Swindle. Austin got a top 5 finish last year in the BFL Bama Division tournament on Lake Mitchell. That tournament's coming up in just the next few weeks, so very, very excited to talk to another angler who was successful last year and talk about what he did in the tournament last year and what he predicts for this year. Before we get started, as always, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and like this video. That way you get notified when all of our content is dropping. Check us out on Facebook and Instagram. That's going to be Revital Outdoors. And if you've never heard of Revital Outdoors, we're a premium CBD company. We make CBD products for all the outdoor enthusiasts, and we're THC free, made right here in America. So great, great products. You can find our full lineup of products on our website, and they are for sale there. Also, if you're interested in pro staff opportunities, you click on the pro staff tab on our website, and you can fill out that application. We'll be happy to review it. So without further ado, though, let's get right to this podcast. Very, very excited to talk to Mr. Austin Swindle. How you doing this evening, bud?
I'm doing fantastic, buddy. How about yourself?
Yeah, doing great. I appreciate you coming on board with this podcast, man. Top 5 finish last year, Lake Mitchell. Let's just get right into it. I know you've got a lot of great history in the state of Alabama, and what style of fishing makes you click so well, and then why are you so good on Mitchell?
Mitchell's a pretty small, reservoir. You can run dam to dam in literally 15 minutes probably. So going into a big tournament like that, you pretty well know it's going to be very well crowded, more or less towards the dam. It's very very popular for that dam. I mean, it's a lot of tournaments are won there. A lot of 20 to 25 pound sacks of spots is caught around that dam. But the problem with it is when you got a big tournament like this coming up, and the one last year also, the population of the people, it's going to be 3 to 1 is going to be at the dam. So for me, what I did, going into practicing for Mitchell that made me successful in that is I tried to stay away from places that's going to be more populated. Like Hatchet Creek's going to be extremely filled full of, your largemouth chasers. They're going to go in there and flip grass, swim a jig, flip lay down, stuff like that. And you can do that and catch some big largemouth and possibly win the tournament. Mitchell's not known as, like Jordan or Lay is for the giant largemouth, but you can still catch a big sack of them. It's mostly known for spotted bass. So for me, I kind of knew people was going to be covered up in Hatchet Creek, and the dam was almost out of the question just because there's going to be like bumper boats up there. So for me, what I'm comfortable doing growing up on Smith Lake is, I love throwing a jig, a jerk bait, stuff like that. So that's kind of what I did in practice was, just stayed around my comfort zone and found some good, steeper banks, rock banks that had laydowns on it, some points, stuff like that. And I ran stuff like that with a jig and jerk bait, and it worked for me. I mean, you pretty much can do that just about anywhere in the country. So I just stayed away from, the more populated areas.
Right. So Lake Mitchell already sounds like to me it's another great spotted bass lake, but unless you're targeting the largemouth, you may or may not win that tournament.
Yeah, I mean, you never really could tell. I think the guy that ended up winning it actually had largemouth last year, but it was a pretty tough tournament. I think first place was like 14 pounds, and Mitchell's known for its 17 to 21 pounds of spots. So when you got a big tournament on a small reservoir like that, it is very, very hard to find big sacks of fish. Basically, if you come in with a 20-pound sack on something small like that, usually you've just set your boat down that morning on them, and you just sit there and caught them all day. If the spotted bass bite, it will be one on spotted bass just because of the numbers and the sheer size of the spots on that lake. But if it's a tougher day and the guys, running around swimming jigs and pitching grass and flipping laydowns, if they get that one big bite, and that's kind of what you're hoping for is that 6 pound bite, and you can back it up with some 2.5 to 3.5 pound, heads, or if you can go catch a couple of decent sized spots, you can definitely make it happen in largemouth fishing too. So that's kind of what's cool about Mitchell is you can really, pick what you want to do and go do it, and you can switch quick because running around is not hard.
Okay. Okay. So thinking about your tournament last year and moving forward, looking forward to this year, do you predict this? I mean, I know you guys have been getting a lot of rain in the area. You had a horrible winter. We thought winter
Mm-hmm.
was over with. Oh man, winter was gone. And then this last weekend, we got kicked to the teeth around the country. What's your predictions for this year?
I think this year, you're going to have a lot of current running. When you got a lot of current running, the dam's going to be the biggest factor in the whole scenario because the more current you got up that way, the better it's going to be. it's going to stack those fish up in the more predictable places. It's going to be easier to find them. They're going to be tighter to the current breaks. They're going to be just anywhere they can get out of that current. So, I mean, it's just going to be easier to find them. And, you know, if it continues to rain, that water continues to be staining up, you know, finding a largemouth might be a little tough. But at the same time, you know, dingy water, it's easy to get a big largemouth to bite too. So, you know, I think if I was going to practice for it, I would probably stay around in the more current areas and kind of, you know, be able to pick out the easier places that the fish are going to be. You know, if you got so much current running, they're not going to just sit out there and swim in it. They can't. So they're going to have to find somewhere they can get out of it. And that's just textbook fishing. Every angler pretty well knows that. So, you know, if you can go find one or two good current breaks, or, you know, just anywhere the current's not as bad, you can stack up pretty quick on some good fish.
When you talk about current breaks, are you talking about main lake points, secondary points? Are these fish staging, getting ready to go up to spawn, or are they still holding into their winter pattern?
I think they're starting to I think they're in the pre-spawn mode, so I think they're really feeding up real good now. I think they're probably, if the weather continues the way it is, they'll probably be ready to spawn coming into probably early next month. You know, just because the water hits 60 degrees for a couple of days doesn't mean those fish are going to run to the bank and start laying eggs. It just don't happen like that. But them fish will get, you know, tighter to cover, tighter to the pockets and stuff like that, getting ready to move on in there to bed. So any kind of creek mouth, pocket mouth, I mean spotted bass, I mean they'll get behind a rock out in the middle of nowhere as long as there's a current break there. So,
Mm-hmm.
you know, it's really just anywhere for the spotted bass. They're just going to pick anywhere they can get that's out of the current. Literally, it can be just a small tree falling down on the bank, and they'll literally just get behind it. So, you know, it's not real. You just got to find just any kind of current break that's going, you know, they can get behind. But if you can find a good creek mouth or a pocket mouth, that's where your numbers are probably going to come from. Just because they got the option that they can move into that pocket and be secure, or move up in there getting ready to bed. So, you
Okay.
know, the pocket mouse are going to be a lot better.
I got you. As far as bait selection, I mean, there's a lot of different things anglers can do this time of year, especially on a lake like Mitchell. You know, notorious for spotted bass fishing and largemouth fishing. Finesse, you know, tactics really play hard this time of year. Obviously, people are going to be thinking about the Alabama rig. So, what's kind of your game plan? I mean, are you more of a run and gun reaction type angler, or do you like to slow down and pick an area apart and really kind of throw the whole kitchen sink at them?
It kind of really just depends on the weather situation. I kind of can bounce around between both, but I would rather run and gun. I like to fish pretty fast, but if time comes tough, I can slow down. Like I said, my favorite bait to throw is a jig. And Mitchell, you can absolutely crush them on a jig. Just any kind of, like, I like a ball head finesse jig, but you know, though, if the water's stained and it's running pretty hard, stuff like crankbaits and chatterbaits and scrounger heads and stuff like that, it's going to be, you know, that's probably what's going to be the key bait. You know, maybe if the water's clear enough, a jerkbait. So a jerkbait's really good on Mitchell too. It's kind of a hidden secret on Mitchell. So,
I got you. I got you. So, what do you think weight wise? What do you predict for this year?
well, anytime you can, like I said, anytime you got a lot of boats on the reservoir, it could be messed up just by just by the traffic. So, you know, last year I predicted, you know, in practice, coming up through practice, I thought 18, 19 pounds was going to win it. And I think I had 13 pounds, finished fifth, and first place wasn't but right at 14. So I think, you know, if it's a good, everything's stabled out and everything, you know, has been calm for a couple of days leading up to the tournament, it could be a 17, 18 pound day. If it's, you know, if you got a cold front or something come through, it's probably going to be a 14, 15 pound day. And you might could see, you know, somebody, you know, find that one big kicker largemouth and catch a 20 pound bag. So,
I got
you
you.
know, it's like, it all just depends on what the weather is coming up to the tournament.
What's a kicker largemouth on Lake Mitchell?
I'd say about a 5.5 pound largemouth. Pretty well kicker largemouth. It's not like
Okay.
a Gunnersville or a Tennessee River place, but, you know, a 5.5 pound head goes a long way in that tournament.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Before we let you go, I got one last question. What do you think, as far as a co angler maybe watching this, what does he need to prepare for?
Uh, just probably prepare yourself for some swift water fishing, just because most of your boats are going to go to the dam. So just be ready to, you know, if they're up there throwing fast moving baits, you know, get you a half ounce jig, maybe even a 3/4 ounce jig, depending on the current, and be ready to throw it a lot. I think if he's fishing fast moving baits, if you can slow down with a jig or even a heavier shaky head, you can get you a limit and get you a good check.
I got you. I got you. So, well, Austin, we really appreciate you coming on with Revital Outdoors and talking to us this evening about Lake Mitchell and your top 5 finish last year. Congratulations and good luck to you this year. Before we let you go, we just want to give you the opportunity to thank any of your sponsors, friends, family, anybody that supports you and your tournament fishing. We just want to give you that opportunity.
Yeah, I like to thank Midway Marine. They kind of helped me out, give me inside boats, and they're a great company. They have one of the best mechanics that you can even ask for. They can decipher just about any issue you have. The sales team there is awesome too. They can get you in a boat. They can make it easy for you. It's no hassle whatsoever. The Mercury is another sponsor that I've tied into this past year. They've been a big help out as well. And then Hammer Rods, being with them has been easy to buy, easy to get rods, and they're a great rod, make an awesome rod. I mean, awesome feeling rod. I can't ask for any better rod. And then Moss Lake Tackle, I just tied in with them not too long ago, and they got some really great products, really great staff over there. And if you need anything, you can get with them, and they can get you just about anything you need. So.
Fantastic. Well, Austin, thank you again for coming in on our podcast. For all of those listeners out there, you've been talking to Mr. Austin Swindle, a top 5 angler last year from Lake Mitchell at the Bama Division BFL tournament. So good luck to you, Austin, this year and all the tournament anglers fishing that event this year in the Bama Division. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel before we let you go. That way you get notified when all of our content is dropping. And, of course, check us out on Facebook and Instagram. That's going to be Revital Outdoors. From all of us at Revital Outdoors, I'm Theron Asbury. Thank you for tuning into this podcast. We'll talk to everyone on the next podcast. God bless and be safe out there.